Jen, mutes on the bottom right on laptops. Yeah, that's my left. Jen.
All right, you are all set. Whoop, too far.
I'd like to call the Newington Economic Development Commission meeting for Wednesday, May 5th to order. Can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all. Could we have the roll call, please?
Surely. Commissioner Ancona?
She was here.
She was there.
I think she's having issues with her Zoom.
Okay, I'll just check her in then.
Okay.
Chairman Avey?
Here.
Commissioner Havens?
Here.
Commissioner Morrison?
Here.
Commissioner Nagel?
Jerry Lynn is here.
She was there also.
Okay, Commissioner Payne?
Here.
Commissioner Rio?
Here.
Commissioner Rosa? Commissioner Slater?
Here.
Commissioner Steam? All set.
Okay. Could I have a motion for the approval of the minutes from April 7th, 2021?
I approve the minutes from 2021.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Second from Jerry Lynn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pass. Okay. Public participation.
No one on at this time.
Okay. Chamber report. Is anyone from the chamber?
Not that I see.
Okay, I do know they have a few tickets left for the drive-in movie, which is Saturday. It's Sing. I don't have any other information at this time.
It's an animated musical.
Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome. I watched Talk to the Mayor last night. That's how I know.
Okay. Oh, one other thing from the chamber. They do awards every year, and this year they're doing it a little different, that the board members are voting, and our superintendent, Bill DeMayo, nominated Megan Mankey as, I believe, the public service, one of the people for public service. And I pleaded her case that she's done a wonderful job during this pandemic. I can speak for the registrar's office that she really helped during the 2 primaries and the presidential election. So hopefully she'll win.
That would be nice.
Yes. Old business, beautification. A few people did respond to the email. Some of the ideas were the entranceways into town, plantings around the signs that are for certain people, and a discussion on would we be using the districts for this project. Bill DeMayo, I apologize once again. I didn't put him on the email, and he did email us a very extensive, informative memo that I will email out to all the commissioners about different ideas. So I don't know, does anyone want to discuss any of the three ideas that were mentioned, and then we can have Bill talk about his ideas?
Can I just make one comment?
Certainly.
It's just a
Jack.
comment. I never appreciated, or I guess I started thinking about it this year, but one of the most beautiful outside of the falls, which is always in the pictures, I think one of the most beautiful places we have in town, and it's just been spectacular this year, is at the corner of Robbins and Main Street. Those cherry trees, when they're in full bloom, what a welcome to Newington. They're just spectacular. And that's an idea that I guess apparently the Girl Scouts did it years ago. I don't think it's a lot of high maintenance, Bill. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just the green there. There's no there's no facilities. There's no nothing to really upkeep except, make sure the lawn is cut, whatever. But what a spectacular sight in Newington when it's blooms. So, my thought is just that, things like that can add an awful lot to what our town looks like, in addition to some of the more involved projects you might be coming up with.
Okay.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would agree with the councilwoman in regards to flowering trees always adds a nice touch to the community. And ever since I've been here, when we plant trees, for instance, the Rotary Club just gave us $238 we purchased a Japanese lilac for Churchill Park. And we always try to go with flowering dogwoods or flowering trees, Japanese weeping cherries, anything that flowers. I think as it got to Gail's mind and imagination, I think it does to most people that it is a beautiful sight. And I think people do enjoy that type of beauty.
Also on like Churchill Bridge, when I was by there today, the daffodils look great. The only disadvantage is they don't last long.
Yeah,
So
that was a project by the Parks and Rec and the 150th anniversary committee. They really came out beautiful. We planted over 5,000 bulbs in the community, and about 500 households got 6 each for free. And all the rest were put in public spots, the Senior and Disabled Center, library, town hall, and all the parks and the entrances and exits. And it came out really nice. People have really recognized those.
Dana, you have your hand up?
Yeah, well, sort of piggyback off what Gail was saying, I was thinking, like, for instance, on Willard and Stoddard, there's that big island in the center there, and it's just a black slab, and I was thinking it'd be nice to do some sort of plantings there, but I'm not saying a tree so much because it might block the sight line. But even if you did, I don't know if you've seen them in West Hartford, where they do, like, it almost looks like a beautiful flower pot. And all 3 seasons has flowers coming out of their islands. And so, any of the islands we have on main roads like that, or not even main roads, just any of those kind of islands, traffic islands, that would be a really nice idea to do.
Mm-hmm.
Willard and Stoddard? Where's that? I mean,
By 7-Eleven, the VFW.
Okay. The VFW.
With the American Legion.
Legion. Yes.
oh, I see. Oh, so that's not an island. That's just the parking lot, right? Or no?
No, it's a
No.
little island.
It's a very small island.
It's a
Okay.
traffic control island. It's actually like on Stoddard Avenue.
Okay.
And, it's also a very well traveled road. A lot
Yeah.
of people cut through there to avoid traffic on the highways. So I think that's an area we'd really want to concentrate on.
Jerry Lynn, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has, but I have the 125th anniversary. And all the things that were done then. They had a tree contest, a lot of different things with the garden club. And if anybody wants a copy of this, I'll scan it and send it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be.
and why reinvent the wheel if we don't have to?
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone been on the Bloomfield? Has a great site for the beautification program on Instagram?
No.
I have.
Have you
It's
been
it's
on
really
that?
nice.
Yeah. A lot of nice ideas there.
Jay, you have something?
Yeah, so the other thing that we mentioned, and when I was on the EDC with Gail, one of the things like the businesses, like the email I sent out when Ron and I went to Aldi's, and they were blaming it on the hotel, but the people just throw garbage, and it was really, it's a shame. And that would be a nice area too, because you come down that hill, that's a well-traveled road too. And there was just so much garbage there. And somebody mentioned about our districts, but is that our responsibility to talk to the business? I wasn't sure exactly how that works. It just so happens we talked to the manager because when we came up, I mean, there was a lot of stuff there, but the manager said that somebody from the town had already talked to them and they were addressing it. So even though it's their land, they were gonna, take responsibility, but they lose their control because they were blaming it on the motel. But I thought the motel was far away from where
No,
their
the
back
back of the
lot was.
motel, the back of the motel is right into their parking lot.
Was it right there?
Yeah.
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 And that would be a TPZ matter, that not ours.
EPZ? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I
Carolyn?
think it's the Blight guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is at the corner of Robbins and Willard, and there's a little store there, and for like 2-3 years, they haven't done anything with their place. So that's TPZ, I guess. But that's where people are going to come off the Berlin Turnpike, go down Robbins, and there it is.
Do we want to do districts? I'll be honest, I have to present something to the town council next Tuesday night. So I thought maybe we could have some type of plan in action. So we can me personally doesn't look like a complete idiot, which I do most days. So maybe next Tuesday I won't.
Well, I would think we want a cohesive plan and not have like 7 different plans,
Right.
So, I mean, you could put us in charge of our district to make, try to get volunteers or whatever, but I think it should be a central plan.
Right.
You want our districts like to go looking, if we see blight, that we'd report it around is that what you want to start with our districts?
That's something we could do, because it's just a call to the building department, and we can report it. I'm just kind of shocked that people don't, like, I had a bunch of stuff in our front yard one morning. I just picked it up and put it in the recycle bin or threw it out. I don't know. Jay?
Well, before we come up with the plan, should we listen to what Bill has to say and see
Yeah.
if that kind of ties in?
Mm-hmm. Mr. DeMayo, you have the floor if you'd like.
Okay, James, do you want to put up that memo?
Okay, I see it.
Yep, you're all set, Bill.
Thank you. So first of all, this is no, all this was brainstorming in my own head after the meeting that you had last month. So I just wanted to be able to have something to throw out to the committee in case you wanted to get off dead center. So I've been involved in beautification programs and economic development my whole life with communities. Fortunately, Parks and Recreation departments normally fall in that realm of things. So some things I've done that worked and some failed. So I tried to stay with the ones that worked. If it's okay, I don't know, Teresa, if you could help me out. I can't read it. So if you could give me the first one, then I'd know what to talk about.
I'm muted.
You're
Or
muted
Jane?
then, Teresa.
I can't hear you, Teresa.
Because I muted and
Now
unmuted
you're not.
myself
Can you hear me
very
now?
quickly. Okay. Purchase 4 Keystone Cops costumes and have staff walk through the sidewalks of downtown as a goodwill ambassador. That would be kind of fun, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's kind of an imaginative idea where you work alongside the police department, and you, even though they don't have enough cops to walk the beats, like in some of the big cities, New York, the Minneapolis, Los Angeles, they have a lot of cops that walk the beats. Well, if we don't have the money to do that, you can get volunteers or paid, $12 an hour type college students to put on costumes, ambassadors for the town, especially at key times. If you were having special events like the car show, or you were having a flea market, or you wanted to do it on a Sunday morning after church or something. It's just an idea to throw out there to get you guys to start thinking of different ways to make Newington a little bit special, a little bit different than all the other surrounding communities. So I started off with an imagination idea.
Okay. Then it was install 2 giant hanging flower pots on the poles and corners.
Yep. So we just put up 2 brand new poles on the corner of Willard Avenue and Garfield. And the intent for that was to hang, we put 2 Welcome to Newington flags on them. But the long-term idea is to hang Christmas banner. We have a 40-foot by 4-foot lighted, says welcome, says happy holidays. So we'll be able to hang that there. But similar to, say, Farmington, they have those flowers hanging over the bridge, and similar to New Britain has hanging pots, live flowers, similar to what Councilwoman Gale was saying in regards to flowering trees. Flowers in general make people recognize your community. So that was another idea.
Yes, I really like that.
What was the third one?
The third one is encourage local businesses to purchase self-wicking flower pots for the front of their businesses for half price of
Right.
$150.
That's a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So what this idea is to try to get all the businesses in Newington on our same page, right? So we need to somehow give them a carrot to get involved in our community to make all of Newington look good, not just the downtown, not just specific areas, but maybe, all the Berlin Turnpike places, all the different Briarwoods and the all the different areas. If they're expensive, self-wicking, for those who don't know, it's about a 17-gallon reservoir underneath the pot, and we can fill them with water, and it lasts X amount of days or weeks, depending on the weather and the humidity. But it's a brilliant way to keep flowers alive. And we have now a greenhouse. So, I could volunteer the Parks Division during the winter time to grow plants, produce some of these pots for the businesses. They could pay for half of it. Teresa could go in front of the council and ask for their consideration to fund X amount of dollars towards this idea. And it might be a way for us to get off dead center in regards to getting everyone on board with the beautification program in the business community.
Okay. Economic development will design a fall flag for the 170 poles downtown.
Yep, I thought that we wanted a fall flag, and this might be a way for you guys to get involved, maybe have a contest, maybe just do it ourselves with a subcommittee, and we could print 170 flags for the fall. We now have Welcome to Newington in the blue and gold colors of Newington. We have the American flags, and we have Christmas decorations. So the fall is the only season that really could use or stand for a flag. And that might be something we can come up with, as a saying, or we could say something like Newington supports our veterans. That might be a kind of a cool thing, because that's a well-respected well-received type idea. Or a fall message, some type of fall message. But that was an idea to add to the fourth quarter of the flag program that we began, but just don't have the money to do it. Again, if Teresa goes in front of the council, that could be part of your plan, and you could total up all the different costs, and the council could decide if they want to do anything or what they want to do on an a la carte type of presentation.
Okay, I see a couple hands up, so I'm gonna go with Jay first, then Dana, then Geraldine. I don't know.
Yeah. I just wanted to add, Bill, I don't know if this can be done, but as part of beautification, I've seen these wind spinners that are really nice. If you can cement those in, they don't die like flowers and they last a long time. You know what I'm talking about, wind spinners?
I don't know.
Like pinwheels, but
They're
on a
like
larger
a
scale?
pinwheel, but they're huge
And
and
made
they
of
go
metal, I
around and they're
believe.
really fancy and they
Do
really
they
look.
hang from the poles or would they be on their own pole?
No, they have to have their own pole.
Mhm.
You'd have to cement them in.
I could Google that tonight and try to take a peek at. I'm
Yeah, it's all- yeah.
unfamiliar with that.
The reason I thought of that, what Dana said is like on Stoddard Ave, something that wouldn't obstruct traffic like a tree, but it's so thin. So where you have little islands, you have a couple of those Newington colors. I mean, they come in blue and gold. I've seen them all colors.
Well, I
What's
wouldn't,
ways.
What's
I
the
wouldn't-
dimensions, Jay? What's the dimensions of those things?
Oh, I don't, they come in all sizes.
Okay.
I'll see if I can, we got one for the yard, but ours is only like 5 feet, but I've seen them bigger. So I
Okay.
don't know if they make more commercial.
I wouldn't suggest something like that on like the traffic island on Stoddard Ave and others, because a lot of times those traffic islands actually see some traffic. So if you put something hard like that, it's going to get destroyed. That's why to do like plantings, a greenery thing, if it gets run over, it gets run over, you can throw some more plants in there. And, something hard like that.
Yeah, that makes, but you know what I was getting
Yeah.
at is just in
Yeah,
certain areas to put it where there's,
Yeah.
because we have a lot of wind. You're right about that, because that is too little.
Yeah.
It'll probably get hit anyways and destroyed.
Yeah.
I see cars go right over there.
I think the
Any-
flower pots are a great idea. We could do that in our districts. If we had the info, we could go to our businesses and try to sell that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or we could even do plaques that, in places where there is no business, but we want to put
We
those
could do
pots.
something. Yeah,
You could do a plaque that says sponsored by Data Mail or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that
yeah. If
to
they
help
want to
offset
sponsor
the
a
prices.
pot, yeah.
Yeah.
How
So
big are the pots?
we'd have to decide, but I'd say big, like the ones in front on Cedar
Cedar
Street, maybe
Street.
in front of TJ's, that area.
Yeah, those are about 30. I think they're 30 inches in diameter and about 2.5. Yeah, about 2.5, 30 inches tall too.
You can't move those.
They're not cheap.
Right.
They're not cheap and they're heavy as hell. The 17 gallons of water in the base and then the dirt and then the pot. It's heavy and they're expensive too. They're about $300, but they're made of a commercial grade type of fiberglass. It's pretty nice.
I mean, the businesses might want their colors in the pot, it would be nice.
We can kind of do, well, okay, we can discuss that later.
You also might, that's one idea. They might want their own colors, but another idea might be that you want to standardize the colors so that everybody knows the Economic Development Committee did this project.
Mhm.
Well, I would think just more continuity is nice.
Yep.
Like even, I'll wait till I get called on.
No, you can continue, Dana, and then Geraldine is next.
Okay. So, well, Bill, I was wondering if you could explain the pricing for the flags. It says $40 per flag and then $25 per pole. What's the 40? What's the 25?
Just what it says. The $40 is the flag that you have printed, one-sided, and it's about, I don't know, 2.5 by 4 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that you see hanging now, that's the flag, and then the pole and the pole that holds it is the pole. And those
Oh,
Okay.
those
oh,
poles
that's
are on a,
$25 just for that little stick.
well, they're special poles, and I'll tell you why, because they spin so that when the wind comes, it reduces the amount of the flag wrapping around the pole. So
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of a brilliant idea by some
okay.
engineer. We have each clamp that holds the poles are $15, but those are reusable. So we're good
So
there.
why, you can't just switch flags and keep the same pole? Each flag has to have their own pole?
Yeah, the poles, the life expectancy of the pole is not long. It's either,
Okay.
they break with the wind, and they break with trucks, big trucks, and a variety of things happen with the poles. So we are constantly replacing them.
Okay, so then we were talking about continuity. And although I really like the idea of designing a fall flag and doing it as a contest, by the way, but I was thinking, branding, continuity, do we maybe just kind of want to leave the flags we have and do sort of a fall decoration going down that pole? Of course, now that I know the pole spins, that idea might be kind of, out in the wind, so to say, pun on words. So I was thinking more like, how you can get those vines of fall flowers and just wrap that on the pole to make it fallish. But if that pole's spinning, I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah, I think we have to also consider how much man hours it's going to take to do this. This is not an easy task for us to even put up the 170 flags and take them down again. So I'm okay. I'm open to the idea, but maybe we might have to.
I thought it was a stationary pole, so it would have been kind of easy. Just put the vine up there and go clamp, clamp, clamp,
Yeah.
like 3 clamps and off you go. But this thing's spinning, not sure that's going to work.
Yeah.
So,
And also just for everyone's edification, we do it at 5 a.m. when there's no traffic. So we can work from 5 to 7. It takes a crew of 2 in a bucket truck, and it takes more than a week's time to put the whole set up. So it's an expensive, lengthy process. I would go, Dana, I would maybe try to suggest you do a fall flag, same idea. You give it the fall message, but you go with a flag so we can make it economical too. $40 is very inexpensive. Just to give you an idea, the Christmas decorations are $400.
well, it's 65, really.
Well, yeah, but
Times 170. All right.
yeah, it's like $11,000. I multiplied it out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
but,
you have it there.
yeah, but just to give you an idea, the Christmas pole decorations start at $400 a piece. So
Wow.
it's
I'm in the
So
wrong
maybe
business.
The fall flag is the way to go at. Geraldine, you had your hand up. Gail,
Yeah,
you're next, Gail.
Okay. What I was thinking about is that in 2 weeks, 5 telephone poles got knocked down around Newington
That's true.
and knocked down in the Berlin Turnpike. So I think that whatever it is that we have is something that's not going to bring more people's diversion from traffic.
Okay.
Oh, so you're not maybe a
I
fan
don't
of the
know,
spinners.
really, maybe maybe the pots will bring their eye down to the ground instead of whatever they're looking at, and instead of hitting the poles.
Oh, the poles are nice. They're always up there.
They are
anyway.
nice, yeah.
No, telephone poles I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Geraldine.
Okay.
Gail?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of piggybacking now on Dana. One thing, we are, again, a very small community, and you can drive through, 2 minutes from end to end. I wouldn't want to see too many different types of decorations or beauty or sculptures or stuff thrown all over town. I mean, I really think, like Dana said, there has to be some kind of theme tying everything together. And I'm afraid if, as much as sounded good, but if you got spinners here and planters here and flags here and this here and that there, it's going to be more, I don't think it's going to be beautiful. It's just going to kind of look, I don't know, chaotic and scattered, just my personal opinion. But second of all, in regards to the hanging plants and the planters, I've, going over the Farmington Bridge, that really is beautiful. It's pretty. I've lived in Georgetown. They do that in Georgetown and DC. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that I like that idea.
I do too.
Third, and I know this is expensive, and I know I've talked to you before about this, Bill, but it's still, I noticed it. If there was a way, and I know it's expensive, to finish up the center cemetery, and I'm not talking about the inside anymore. I'm talking about how that nice white fence goes along Cedar Street, but you still can see through to the back of OCI building, and you could see the ivy and whatever on the yards that are there. It would be nice to maybe kind of finish that fencing off all around the cemetery, so at least it looks comprehensive and complete. And then the last thing, Bill, I guess this is a question for you. I had two people come up to me actually at the history walk, and they were talking about, how nice the flags look in the center of town, and also going down Main Street towards Robbins, but they live on the other end of town, and they were wondering, they said, and it probably is a question of cost, but they said that there are brackets on the poles that go all the way up to where Yanni's is, and they kind of felt that, why does it, I don't know where it stops. I guess maybe at Dowd Street, I'm not sure. But
Yeah, they used to come all the way down past Stoddard, but I don't know what happened. A couple of years ago, it stopped.
Yeah, and if there's, they were just kind of questioning if it could kind of be extended all the way through Main Street. So.
Yeah, two responses. One, I'd love, give me the money today, and I'll have that fence up at the cemetery.
Super.
And then the flags, I thought they went to Yanni's this year with the blue flags, but I'll double check. If it isn't, we ran out of money for purchasing them. It's not that we don't want to do it.
Okay, thanks.
Jay, you had
No, I
your
just
hand up?
wanted, I did send everybody what the wind spinners were, but I didn't see Bill, so I had to send Bill a separate note to his email on the wind spinners. So Bill, it should be in your inbox.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The next was, you mentioned doing a pavilion in the island of the Constitution Square.
Yes, some people have come forward to me, and a couple people that wanted to donate money, like $4,000 or $5,000. He had 3 or 4 people, but as I looked into the expense of it and putting in brick pavers around the edges and finishing it off and putting lights and stuff like that, it's expensive, but it would be a giant pavilion that's, I think, over 60 feet long. So it was just an idea. Again, this is for your long range plans. It could be 5 years from now. It could be never, whatever the case may be. It just seemed like for the municipal concerts, it was a nice gathering place. I know if COVID is gone, we bring back the farmers market and flea markets and entertainment. It helped the businesses downtown, I believe, somewhat of gave it a boost in the arm. So that's just an idea. I don't feel strongly about it, but I did put it in as one of just a brainstorming idea.
Mm-hmm. We talked about expanding the downtown business flags and holiday decorations, both Main, Stoddard, and New Britain, and Maple Hill Ave.
Yeah, I picked those 2 areas because there's some economic development money from the state that the town will be developing some improvements. The first one is the $2.5 million at New Britain Avenue, Maple Hill Avenue, Robbins. So that made sense to me as an idea, a beginning anyway, a starting place. And then the second state look at was the Stoddard Avenue in Briarwood area, Yanni's area. So that was my second thought to throw out there for you guys to consider.
Okay.
What are business flags?
No, business, I think it was the business area, the same kind of decorations, the same flags what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Yes, I agree. I think they should, yeah. I
We
like
have no Christmas decorations past the basic center of town, just based on money.
Mhm. Geraldine?
Oh, I think that's a good idea, Bill DeMayo, about the thing in the $125,000 item, 60
In-
feet long in the
In
park.
the center of the
Center.
Constitution
Yeah,
Square Pavilion.
and have people kick in some money on it as you was talking about it.
Yep.
A good center place.
Encourage and help pay for the Parks and Rec Department to install 2 large American flags.
Yes, made out of flowers. So
Flowers, sorry.
Oh,
what we're trying to do is, back in my other career, in the city next door, we used to build these flags made out of red, white, and blue flowers. So we're in the process now of building a berm at the library town hall island, so that half of it faces Mazzicoli Way and the second flag faces Cedar Street. And if you were coming out of the senior center or driving down Cedar Street, you'd see it. Also not a cheap project, and it takes a great deal of maintenance and weeding and watering. So we're going to try it at first this year as an experiment for the Parks and Rec Department, but anticipate year 2 that it's going to be costly, and I would hope someone would help us pay for our beautification, part-time 19-hour-a-week beautification guy, or purchase the flowers, or help us under the cost, because it's not really in our budget.
Okay.
If it looks nice, you might want to delay this consideration until you see it. So, but we got rid of it about 20 years ago in New Britain because it was one of those budget cuts as usual. But everyone loved it, absolutely loved it, and New Britain was known for it. They did it in 3 different parks. It was quite nice.
So it's kind of like I would say something similar to the float of the Rose Parade. They're made because all the floats are made out of roses, correct? So this
Yeah.
would be made out of flowers.
The living flowers.
But they're
You're gonna
living.
plant them.
Right.
These are actually planted in dirt and fertilized and all that. So
Okay.
you'll see it very shortly. We're hoping for Memorial Day. We're going to have this thing constructed.
Okay. A $400 for 48-inch battery operated time controlled holiday wreath.
So as you know, I mentioned earlier that we were going to put the Happy Holidays sign at the corner of Garfield and Willard.
Mm-hmm.
We also wanted to tie in Garfield Street with the downtown. So we want to connect the government center with the downtown Market Square, Main Street. But however, as many of you know, the poles that we use for Christmas or holiday decorations have electricity on them, but the poles on Garfield don't. So we found a company in North Carolina that sells 4-foot wreaths that are lit, that are on a battery operated, time controlled system. And they're about $400. So the more we started brainstorming, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe there's other businesses that want to purchase it for their locations, very similar to them purchasing a half a flower pot. They might want to do holiday decorations on their store, above their door, or whatever. And again, it goes back to Dana's idea of standardizing and bringing everything to tie it all together as one whole town of Newington. So you might, everybody might go drive through and say, hey, you know what? They've got wreaths over here, and it's similar to downtown, and it might draw some attention to the town.
And sponsor an event that gives the town a positive reputation.
Yep. So those are just the general idea that economic development obviously it's 100 pieces to a puzzle, right? So we don't know which piece of the puzzle is more important. Maybe none of them are, but all the pieces, when you put the 100 pieces together, it makes this beautiful mosaic. And I think with economic development, we start to think about also bringing people to Newington, attracting them, making them feel good, either by driving through, by visiting, by being enticed to come to an event. So if they leave a soccer tournament on Father's Day with 110 teams from all over New England, or they leave a Memorial Day lacrosse tournament and they had a pleasant experience, it puts Newington in the front of their foreheads. So just an idea to consider these kinds of events as a piece of the economic development for Newington. That's all.
Sorry, I was muted. That EDC should consider sponsoring or co-sponsoring, excuse me, the Night of Lights in the center of town.
Yeah. When I first got here, the Chamber of Commerce was kind of active in that, but since their budget cuts and everything else, they've kind of backed out a little bit. They're helpful, but backed out on and the program is bigger than it's ever been, right? We're closing down Main Street. We're bringing thousands of people downtown. It's a way in which the Economic Development Committee can get recognized and can contribute and to attract people from all over. Just same idea as the special events. It's, there's a certain amount of special events that should take place in every community. I just heard Norwalk, the Oyster Festival, right? Everyone knows they're for the Oyster Festival. So it's just one of those things that another brainstorming idea, not pushing it or anything. I'm just brainstorming to get you to start to think, how can we draw people to Newington, have a pleasant experience, and then either want to come back to shop, come back to eat, or actually buy a house or a condo.
Okay. I was thinking the whole slogan for fall, something similar to like maybe fall in love with Newington.
Yep.
I
like
love that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's nice.
Yeah. And I think if I'm not a big guy on contests, personally, you guys could do whatever you want, but I'd rather have you control your destiny, right? You don't want five contest winners and you have to get stuck with something you don't like. So I'll go with fall in love with Newington or something like that. That's cool. And then maybe have fall colors, right? Oranges and browns and the yellows. That'd be kind of neat.
Teresa, you earned your pay today.
Yeah,
Oh, that
really.
was Jen. Yeah,
that wasn't me. That was
Oh.
Jen Ancona.
Oh, Jen, yeah.
She
excellent.
got her. She came up with it.
Nice.
Wow. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that was a great
and
idea.
I think contests, there's like, I just like, oh, why didn't, then we may have to explain why we took this one over that one, and there could be a crying kid.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, fall in love with Newington is great.
Yeah,
And it's a whole theme we could go with.
Yeah.
Right. But with the beautification, do we want to start with I'm not up on my flowers, but start with the big pots at certain locations and roll from there? Or do we want to, we can see if we can order the flags if that's the way we want to go for fall. But right now, for May, June, July, do we want to try to do the pots for that?
But if I could jump in, two things. One, you think you're in May, but it's fall. September will be here. It takes about 8 weeks to print flags. So just to give you an idea, you're going to be 2 months and you need to give us 2 or 3 weeks to put it up. So that's one thing. Second thing is I thought I was under the understanding with Keith that the town manager Chapman, that we were supposed to come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan, and present it to the council
Mhm.
for their consideration, I think is the way I understood it. I may have got that wrong, but I think that's what the game plan was.
That is correct, folks.
Okay.
Okay, Teresa,
Yes, Dana.
I just want to ask and say a couple of things. Bill, for us co-sponsoring Night of Light celebration, that would be awesome, except we do not have a budget. So we could only present ourselves.
No, we do, excuse me, Dana, there is money in the beautification that
Okay.
maybe we could use for that. There is money
Okay.
set aside in the beautification.
Under us, we got a budget? We got money for the Economic Development Commission, or is that something different?
It's for beautification, but you're in charge of beautification, so.
All right. Okay. And as much as I love, because Mia texted me that Fall in Love with Newington, and I do love it. I just realized on those flags, it might be a lot of words for people to read as they're driving by. So maybe what you can do is have artwork that goes with that and have a bigger banner somewhere in the center of town. And then that same artwork be on the flags that you have on the streets.
Like utilize where they put the happy holiday signs.
Right,
Billboard.
exactly.
Okay.
So, Fall in Love with Newington, and then, a picture of the falls with fall foliage around it, let's
Mhm.
say. And then, the fall flag would be that photo or likeness of the falls on the flags.
Oh, yes,
Just
Jay.
something like that.
I had a couple of follow through is, I don't know what it costs, Bill, on the billboard that we have, on Cedar Street and Main Street, that you could do. I like that, Fall in Love with Newington, and you can kind of change it. You can have with turkeys and pumpkins, scarecrow, whatever. And I think that will look great there, and then have a different kind of welcome, fall type thing, whether it's a cornucopia or whatever, because that was a great idea. A couple of things I wanted to ask. Are we going to have, when you said about sponsoring events, because it's outside and because of the pandemic, are they going to have that sidewalk, what they do in September, the fall? And are they going to have the car show this year, things like that?
The car show is on. We're moving forward as long as things don't go backwards for outdoor events. June 10th, 11th, and 12th, we're doing the St. Patrick's Day party in the park, Food Truck Friday, and Motorcycle Madness. So the answer to you is yes. I have not heard about the Waterfall Festival. That may be fading out. I'm not positive, but I do know the car show is June 10th.
And the other part, you're talking about everything we're doing is during the day. And I think the center of town looks great with the lights. Are there other places we can put it just gives you a very warm feeling. So there's other places at night as you come into Newington where you can put lights if it's not that expensive.
I could probably put lights anywhere, but I think you need a source of electricity that someone's willing to pay for. The ones downtown are on a meter for the town.
Oh, so that's the only place where there's a meter, because you mentioned about the battery, but you have some electricity on Garfield, but we don't have it anyplace else then.
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I bet there's some plugs around town, but I don't know exactly where.
Okay, so yes, Dave Marsden.
I just wanted to interrupt to say that I have to get off the call. So I wanted to
Okay.
say good night and see you next month, I guess.
Sounds good. We'll loop you in with anything that we've
Yeah.
discussed.
There was
Thank
nothing
you.
new about any businesses coming to town or anything like that.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful month.
You too. So do we want to go ahead with the flags for the fall and see about a banner or cross? Market Square.
I think
Yeah.
I might suggest, I forgot who made the idea about the center of town and CVS, but it's not much money for like Jeff Gambino out of Image Inc. to make those chloroplast signs. It's like maybe $100, $150.
But I was saying, yeah, I think that would be great.
And it's free to use use the signboard. So that's no problem. We just have to reserve it at 1 week at a time in our office. So that might be a very inexpensive way to get the Economic Development Committee out there anyway, right? You just need some artwork, and
Right.
we could ask Jeff Gambino to work it up. He's done that for me, design stuff for free, and gives us an idea of what he sees. Or if any of you are artists or good at that stuff and you want to fool around with it on your computers, give everything to Teresa, and we could consider that too. But that's a simple, easy, inexpensive, $300 for 2 signs maybe, with using the Jen Ancona. She might have some kind of royalty rights to that. I don't know.
Yep.
I was gonna save it, but she beat me to it. So
If she knew a good lawyer, maybe she could have a contract right now.
Yeah. Rob Rio.
Hey, Trish, I was thinking for the council meeting, it might be an approach to present the Fall in Love with Newington as a concept, and then identify the 2 or 3 or 4 items, specific things that we're going to do, namely the flags, the signage, and whatever else, so that you're selling an idea and a concept instead of a single action.
Okay. Flags. Okay. Thank you very much, Rob. I may call upon you again.
No problem. Anytime.
Dana?
Okay. The billboard that Jay was speaking about, and Bill, Jay, were you talking about the billboard on Cedar and Willard, or the one in front of CVS? I mean, not Cedar and Willard,
No,
Cedar and Maine?
Maine and CVS, yes.
And CVS. Okay, so from what I remember, you've got like a waiting list, Bill, to for organizations to post their ads for their activities going on those billboards. So now I'm going back to months and months ago when we were, and this is more costly, I understand, but when we were talking about getting different permanent signage for those areas where they're like, tent style, but on its side, or even cubes, so that you could have more than one organization advertising at the same time, that type of deal. Because, if you want, if we're not going to do the banner and you want to do one of those signs, we're going to have to, keep moving it in and out while other organizations, Parks and Rec, the library, Boy Scouts, whatever, advertise their activities there. Right.
Well, first of all, there is no waiting list for either one of the signs. And second of all, we could move those around, the park staff. What we just have to do is reserve weeks. You can't do 2 in a row, but you do 1 week at a time, and you stagger it around. But that certainly is doable. I think there's a whole bunch of myths and misunderstandings and facts out on Facebook about those signs that aren't really true.
This wasn't Facebook. This was something that came out of the meeting probably a year or so ago, people were saying how some organizations were upset that they couldn't get in there and that they felt Parks and Rec had too much time on them. Maybe it was before you came.
No. It was there, and it was totally a false statement. What I did when I got here was I put the backdrop of each sign is a Parks and Rec sign just when it's not being used. See, this is the misnomer. What happened when I got here is it was a whiteboard in the back of those signs. And what some vandals would do is spray paint the white sign and put all kinds of graffiti on it. Once I changed it to a Parks and Rec sign, it's never been touched in 6 years. So when you see the Parks and Rec sign, the generic one, that's because no one's using it. So that I want to make sure everyone knows that. That statement went out a year or two ago, and it was totally true, not true.
So you don't see a need for having those signs to be expanded so that more than one organization can advertise an activity?
I don't at this time, but you guys could make that decision and we could, but I don't think there's a need for it.
No, well, you would know better than us because you're the ones that maintain that
Yeah.
waiting list that apparently doesn't exist.
Right.
Geraldine?
Yeah, that's why we didn't put about the town history walk on there, because we thought it was, being used.
I know. I don't know how to change that. I don't get it.
Yeah,
But
put it on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a bad idea.
Okay. So anything else? Do we agree that with Rob's suggestion about going to the council saying this is the theme, fall in love with Newington, and then go with the flags and we could
Right.
price out the spinners or the flowers.
I'm assuming that we don't want to wait till fall to get this beautification started. With the spring and summer coming up. Bill, how long does it take to get those planters?
I would say everything's about 8 weeks being delivered.
Yeah, so maybe we are talking fall.
Yeah.
That's
The end of the summer.
Right. So
You could do mums. You could do, quite some nice flowers in the fall.
mums. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are hardy and they don't take a lot of maintenance.
And maybe, if I may, Madam Chair, just
Mhm.
you might want to say X amount of dollars towards buying flower pots. So say they're $300 a piece and you buy 4 of them, the first 4 businesses that get involved in your community, in your ideas, and then you take a waiting list and you could determine maybe no one wants to do it. Maybe 10 businesses want to do it.
Mhm.
And then you feel it out a little bit so you don't waste too much money or,
Right.
do too much of a commitment.
Yeah, my fear, and this is just that my mom was a small business owner, my brother's a small business owner. Going to a small business right now after a hellish year and a half that they've had may be asking too much. I don't have a problem going to Walmart, Target, Lowe's in town saying, hey, can you help us with this or that? But going to, like I said, a small business might be asking too much as they're just trying to get out and trying to make a little money so they can further their lives and pay
Yeah.
for
Well-
hockey for their sons.
Okay, well, point well taken. I mean, that was only a brainstorming idea I
Mhm.
threw on paper. You could literally say you're going to buy 5 pots at $300 a piece and pay for the flowers inside. Parks and Rec will plant them and deliver them for you for free.
Mhm.
If that's what you want to do, you know what I mean?
Right.
Anything, it's wide open right now. You can do anything you want because you're in charge.
Okay.
Listen,
Dana?
yeah, so 8 weeks from the council meeting is actually the end of July, not so bad. So I'm thinking, what if we, since now I know we have some money, what if we purchase some of those pots ourselves and put them in key spots, like, I keep saying this, but it's because I live here and I know it exists, the island on Stoddard, right? And use them as an advertising tool. Say, look, this is what the town is doing to help beautification. You want to be a part of it and place these in front of your business, and here's the deal.
Mhm.
That type of deal. So you have an example.
Right.
I mean,
And also the budget doesn't start, the money doesn't start for us till July 1st.
I think that I would make that a stumbling block because I think you
Right,
could.
just,
Yeah,
we
it-
could
it's all-
probably transfer things around and
Yeah, well, the budget is
something,
approved.
I don't know.
Yeah, the budget is approved, so you could write purchase orders and we don't pay people until they deliver the product. So,
Okay,
that's kind of how it
Yeah.
works. That's one thing. Second thing is for Dana, one, I would make sure we talk to our traffic expert at the police department because I don't want to do anything, because we take down bushes and trees a lot of times because it blocks the view of drivers. So I just want to make sure that's
Yeah.
clear. And then the
Well,
second
actually,
thing,
like,
the second thing is when
Uh,
Keith or somebody in the town gives businesses something for free to use, like picnic tables or barricades, whatever, it goes a long way. So I'm
I
okay.
didn't suggest
I'm totally,
that. I
I'm
didn't
totally-
suggest that.
yeah, I'm
That
totally
wasn't my
okay.
suggestion. My suggestion was we just do it in non-business areas and then encourage the businesses to carry that look through in front of theirs. And actually, when I was talking about doing plantings on the islands that we have around, I didn't really mean planters because of cars running into them. Like other towns actually have, like, they've kind of dug out the center of those islands and the plants are planted, or the bushes are planted directly into the ground right there. They're not in a planter. So
Yeah,
this is,
with my resources, my personal resources in the department, we would not be able to expand that type of resource right now as it stands. If the budget changed or we did something differently, we have the knowledge and the ability. We just don't have the time or the money.
thank you, James.
Jay,
I just remembered that Jimmy told me that I believe they're actually going to be tearing up, the state's going to be doing Willett Ave this year. And I think, I can't remember if it goes from where the bus station is toward the high school, but they're going to be doing that section in front of started, I believe, this year.
They're actually doing it the fourth week in July, and it starts from Cedar Street and goes to the bus station.
Yeah, that's what I thought he told me.
What are they doing?
The whole road.
Oh, they're just
Milling.
repaving?
Yeah, milling and paving. Yep.
Okay.
And sidewalks and curbing.
And it's going from July till,
4 weeks, I believe.
Yeah,
well, I'm just wondering if we can get them to kind of build us a little built-in planter on that island then, on Stoddard, since they're going to be there tearing it up.
Yeah, you'd have about 2 chances for the state to do that. Slim and none, and Slim left town.
Oh,
Okay.
there's ways.
Yeah.
Any,
Can we get, Teresa, can we get an example of the planter maybe at the extravaganza as a little advertisement of what businesses could have? Do we get a booth?
That's a great idea. Maybe getting a booth. Would we be able to get a booth and maybe have an example of one of those planters? I'm thinking they're similar to the planters that they have outside of the west entrance of Town Hall by the new parking lot. Are those what
Yes.
you're, okay. So maybe that's something we should consider, doing something at the extravaganza.
That's certainly possible.
With
Mhm.
our new theme,
Right.
Maybe we could get the artwork of a flag or something by then too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other ideas?
The only thing I was thinking is the Fall in Love with Newington. If you can extend it a little bit more than just seasonal for autumn, you could make it, like you said, the fall theme, but also somehow Mill Pond Falls can kind of,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could really do a
yeah,
lot with
you could
this.
do a lot with that.
Mhm. Right.
Like I said, with like branding and stuff, I think the fall should always be our center focal point. Anyways, our artwork. So, but we totally have to hang on to Fall in Love with Newington. That's so great, Jen.
Sorry about that. I hit my space bar by accident.
That is
Wondered
very
what was
good,
happening.
Jen. Okay, so anything else on the beautification?
I have a couple of ideas, but I can't figure out how to raise my hand.
Okay.
Aw,
Um,
Me either, I tried.
I'm
It's not
trying.
just butt
participants.
in like I do.
So I kind of came into the meeting a little late, so I apologize if I repeat some things, but the few things that I was thinking was, which I know we went over, the entrances of the town, bridges. I love the idea of the hanging plants and flowers. I have a question about, if anybody knows, in front of the high school, or actually in front of like Veterans Way, there's these tall brick pillars. And then on top of them, they're like these planters. And I just noticed them today. I don't know if it's the high school's property or if it's the veterans property, but I think it would look really pretty if there was something up on those planters. Also, well, the small island thing, we kind of already went over. So that's about it.
Speaking of
I think that's about it.
the hanging planters, Bill, did we have to wait till July to get those down in the center of town because the weather's so nice? Now's the time to start putting hanging plants, no?
Yeah.
The planters, I think, are owned by the VA, but why?
No, I was just going back to the fact
Oh.
that you want to get hanging planters for in the center of town,
Yeah.
like on Garfield and all that. It's it'd be nice to get it done this spring, summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be possible. Having hanging planters. Well, I was only thinking of two on Willard and Garfield, but if you're thinking a full blown program downtown, it would probably. I think my budget for that was like $100,000 to do. It's a very expensive proposition because you have to. Even though you have a reservoir, you have to water them on a 3 days to 5 day cycle. So it becomes a pretty expensive thing. And just to buy the pots alone are expensive, and there's a ton of poles. I think I'd start small on that one.
Well, then
What about just on bridges? Like I can only think of 2 little bridges in town.
there's a
What
lot.
about, is that still, you think, too much?
We don't own the bridges. That's those ideas about the state signs. Those are on state property, and the bridges are state property. So we couldn't do that.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm thinking if we can't at this time do hanging baskets, flower baskets along, the center of town, maybe just skip the ones on Garfield for now and just that may be a great place to put the planters, and because now you're drawing it from the TJ's area, from the town hall to Garfield, and the business can see how stuff is starting to tie in more.
What about the entryways to town? Just certain entryways. I thought we were going to start.
Yeah, where
My
all the
idea
Newington
stinks.
signs
There's not
are.
enough foot room.
Well, the
What?
poles that have flags on them are probably the poles you're going to put hanging baskets on. So you do one or the other, I think. I don't think you have flowers and then take them up, put them down. I think it's almost a permanent thing.
Yeah.
So
No, but I'm just saying, just to have 2 hanging baskets just in the middle, and we can't do it elsewhere. Like, I think it's a great idea, but I think to really make an impact, it has to be bigger than just the 2.
I would agree with that. I think the entrances are, well, again, the poles. I guess downtown, if you did on Constance Lee, then you did it on Main and Market Square, maybe Lowry Place. I don't know. I don't know. That would need some serious thinking and planning.
Yeah,
I think.
especially if you're talking about the planters on the ground, you got to worry about ADA compliance and foot traffic and stuff. So
What about just the entrances where the big new, like, welcome to Newington is? Like, there's one on Cedar and Fen, and it kind of looks like there's something already there. or could be something
Yeah.
in front of that sign. So maybe just like wherever there's a welcome to Newington sign, we really just focus on making that really pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Maybe.
Oh, and maybe instead of round pots, you can do like a flower box type of pot
Yeah,
that goes along the length of the sign.
yeah,
Yeah. I think,
absolutely.
yeah, this week, our beautification guy, 19-hour a week guy started, Victor. And that one of his main concerns is to get those tons of flowers in those entrance areas, because I knew you guys wanted that. So if you give us a week or two, you might want to take a peek at those and
yeah,
see them.
that's,
Oh, thanks, James.
yeah,
Thanks, Jane.
Yeah.
yeah.
It sounds really bad probably, but this tells you the extent of my gardening. There's some pretty nice silk flowers and stuff out there. I mean, what- seriously.
They
It's-
fade too
They're
fast
low
and fall apart.
maintenance. They're outdoor, weatherproof. At some of the cemeteries, they have them. I mean, I don't know if that's less expensive, Bill, or not. I don't know.
I've never dealt
Less
with
maintenance.
fake flowers.
I tried it in front of my house and it did not go very well because
Yeah.
they do not take the elements very well.
Well, if you buy the right ones, they do. Because I know like at Sacred Heart Cemetery in New Britain and St. Mary's Cemetery in New Britain, people have some pretty nice arrangements there. So maybe, Bill, you can just kind of like in your spare time, look into.
Sure. I'll look into fake flowers.
They put them in the cemeteries in Phoenix, Arizona in the heat and they last. So,
There you go.
Okay.
and that's lower maintenance. You don't have to water.
Yeah, that's correct. I agree.
Jay, you have your hand up?
Yeah, you know what I wanted to ask? When the school in front of the high school, their electronic sign, when they're not in session, could we use that to publicize, Newington a little bit
We
with
can,
sayings and things like that? People drive by there. That's a well-traveled road.
right.
Yeah.
We can
Other than,
ask.
The date. And I don't know what that comes under, but wouldn't that be great? Fall in love with Newington or an event or whatever, take more advantage of that sign. It's always on, other than
Right.
the date or whatever. When the school's not in session, because I'm assuming they, once the school, hopefully things will be back in the fall, but especially in the summertime, it's not really used.
Right. That's something we could look into. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a Maureen Brummett question.
Right.
Where's this picture, James?
Off the turnpike. Russell
Oh,
Road.
see, yeah,
exit.
right near Bolorama, Cedar Mountain Stone,
Yeah.
Cedar Street.
There's a sign there? I've never even
Yes.
noticed it.
Yeah, well, it needs flowers around it.
Yeah, it sure does.
Something, yeah.
It needs something.
I mean, I travel that a lot. I have never, that's why I'm like, where is that? I don't get it.
Yeah.
It looks like the pike,
It
but I
definitely
don't saw
needs
that.
something.
We probably pass it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you kick off it to come onto Russell Road, it's just to the left in that island
Yep.
area,
Yeah.
Okay.
right by the bridge.
Oh, you know what? Maybe too. I'm just too busy trying to merge into traffic to even notice it.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah.
You were probably looking at the flags up in the air. So
Anything else on the beautification?
I have one other quick thing.
Jennifer.
Do we have, this is going to sound silly, but do we have more than one? I know we have more than one bus stop, but I'm thinking of the bus stop, like little glass hut thing on Robbins. Do we have a lot of those in town?
let's see,
Do we
1,
know?
2, 3, 4, 5, maybe about 5 or 6 that I know of.
Okay, is that also like a state thing?
It is a state. Those are up in. They're all three. Some of them are put on private property, some on state, and some on town property. Oftentimes we get called to shovel them if the state doesn't do it, and we also are called if there's graffiti put on them. So I don't know the total answer to that. I'm not sure who owns them specifically, but I can tell you we've been called to put out fires over there.
Okay.
What were you thinking with those, Jen?
Just maybe to spruce them up a little bit. if,
Mm.
if, you know, the one on Robin, it just looks a little shabby, but it's a bus stop, I get it, but maybe if we're, you know, looking to.
The one on
beautify-
Robbins, Jen, the one on Robbins is gonna be moved actually, because
Oh.
with the new road. And you'll probably get a new one there. The state's gonna put that in.
Okay,
Bill, well, everybody really. Going right back to number one of Bill's bullets here, purchase of 4 Keystone Cop costumes. Now that we have the Fall in Love with Newington theme, how about instead of Keystone Cops type of thing, we just have somebody wearing like, almost like a caddy bib type thing that says Fall in Love with Newington. And they could actually hand out some of the leaflets about, you know, our walking trails and things like that. Maybe even businesses can, you know, we can partner with businesses, pay a little fee to have them hand out their cards or something like that. But I don't know. I think it might be nicer instead of having, not nicer, just another idea to
Yeah,
have something, you know, instead of cops, to have something a little bit that ties in now with our theme.
and do you
We
guys
have them
want-
at the, we have something like that at the Travelers. We call them, well, they've had lots of different names, but we've been doing that for years at the Travelers. And it's very well received. So, of course, there, a lot of people don't know where anything is. You know, Newington's a little smaller, might not be as needed. But
Jen?
Oh, I was just gonna say, when I was thinking of the little slogan, do you guys like come and fall in love with Newington, or just fall in love with Newington?
just fall in love.
Fall in love, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff is drive-by. The more words you have, the more gets lost.
Yeah,
Mhm.
If you were going to do a radio spot or a TV spot, then, you know, different.
hint, hint.
You know, if you had 3 lines, fall in love with, and then Newington, that wouldn't be too bad, really.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, no,
nice.
that's good. It would be too much on a flag, I think, on those little flags.
Mhm.
Depends how
If
it's
you're
designed.
walking, it's not too much, but if you're driving, but then again, you see them every couple of feet, so you could probably figure it out by the end of your trip.
Or even if it was every other flag had that on there,
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an idea too. Following,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know.
We'll think about it.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, fall in love with Newington on one flag, and then whatever emblem we decide on the other. And
Mhm.
Are you gonna go to Image Inc., Teresa, and see if they could like make up something? And
Yes, probably just because we do,
Or Rob.
we do have a rapport with them.
yeah. Yeah, see what they can do with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else on the beautification? Okay. New business? Keith, is there any new businesses coming in that?
Nothing, there's been a few. There's a new manufacturing company coming in on Rockwell Road down in the Newington Industrial Park, which is nice. It's coming from another town nearby, so we picked up that one. But overall, you know, there's been some movement. Dick's is, they're moving up near the mall, but staying in Newington. So they're renovating the building up near the mall right now. And they'll be moving out of the Berlin Turnpike. But, there's a couple other businesses that are moving around and relocating within the town. But the major players that we're working with, they're still going through the regulatory processes with the planning and zoning, conservation and so forth, and DOT. So we're optimistic that we're going to have some great announcements in a very short time of approved projects that will move forward in the town. But I can't say when that's going to happen, but when it does, it'll be a great catch for the town.
Good.
So I know Burlington's opening on the 14th. When is Ren opening?
Friends, I believe that they're shooting, I believe, the last I heard was sometime in June.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
They're
what
moving
I
along
heard
down
too.
there right now.
Anything else?
Not that I recall or can reveal, we'll say at this point.
Okay, no problem. So we'll go on. Thank you, Keith. We'll go
Yep.
on to public participation. I kind of feel like Ferris Bueller's teacher at this moment with public participation.
Rose?
the-
Rose?
Yeah.
Stay with us.
Any,
We got a little sign, hi Rose, right there.
yeah. Any commissioners' comments?
Yeah, I have one
Yes,
thing.
Jerry.
Is there anything that this committee can do? There's so many businesses, restaurants and all that can't find people to work in them, and they're just one-armed paper hangers that I've encountered.
I don't know, unless you want a job, Geraldine. I'm not sure how we're gonna.
I used to do that, so.
Jay,
Yeah, can we invite or put on the distribution list? I don't know who the executive of the chamber is, but like Deanna, but she used to come to the meetings
Right.
and I don't see them invited, so I'd like to make a
Les-
suggestion that we add them, see if they
right,
would come.
Leslie is on the invite. Leslie Civitello.
What
And
about
it's
Deanna?
she's the executive director. And they asked me to put her on. I can go back to the meeting and let them know that no one is showing up. That is there another person we should be including?
Or they could just send us, a
Or even
note,
an update
and
to
then we
you.
could, yeah,
Right.
then like you did today, you can just say the chamber is saying
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. It's difficult for them to get here in the evening. We could do
The
it for them.
chamber used to even invite us, when there was a new business opening that, some of us could represent, the committee and, we would go to those.
I
Then again,
do
with the
know
pandemic.
that they're going back to ribbon cuttings mid-May, I believe.
Well, we're in
So
May.
if I get anything, I will forward it on to everyone.
I think a lot of times that also depends on, well, chamber did some, but also businesses do their own,
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, like if a business wasn't going to do it, the chamber might say, hey, we'll help you sponsor it. And then they would do it together. Because it could be
Anything-
costly for the business.
Right. Anything else?
If I may just jump in, one other
Sure.
thing. The town, working with the Chamber of Commerce and a local solar company, will be announcing a, we'll say, promotion to have the commercial properties throughout the town consider putting solar on their properties. It would clean up the environment and also probably save quite a bit of money for the owners of the buildings or the occupants of the buildings. So that's going to be announced at the council meeting next Tuesday. And it's a venture, it's a collaborative venture with the Chamber of Commerce moving forward. So we're going to see how this shakes out and hopefully be able to help quite a few businesses in town. It's not going to be just limited to the chamber members. It's open to anyone.
Oh, good.
Is there a financial input for them? I mean, are we given?
Depends on which plan they pick. They can do what's a PPA, which is no cost up front at all. Actually, no cost ever for the solar panels. They can also purchase the panels or they can lease the panels. It all depends on what they want to do. And that'll be all explained to anyone interested. Once the promotion is announced, then they'll make contact with a chamber member that's assisting in this project. And then the vendor will go out and look at the property and determine what possibilities they have. And then the property owners will make a final decision if they want to move forward.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
To adjourn.
Okay, first by Jay, seconded by Rob. Okay, I thank everyone and we'll see you next month.
We'll be watching you Tuesday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.